Hey guys, today we're going to be covering the importance of account health. Here I have open my account health dashboard, and I've actually got an authenticity complaint here, so I figured this would be a good example to go over and how you want to go about handling these. I want to also stress in this video that this is not regarding account suspensions, so please do not follow this advice if you are dealing with a suspension. And the reason for that is really a whole different process that I personally have never gone through myself. So I don't want to give you bad advice when it comes to dealing with suspensions, because I have heard in the past that as soon as you go ahead and submit an appeal with your suspension, if it's not done the correct way on the first try, they may hold that against you when it comes to reinstating your account. So please, if you are suspended, go ahead and work with a suspension professional. They are going to know a lot better than I do how exactly to deal with this issue when it comes to suspensions. So with that out of the way, let's jump into account health. So if you aren't suspended and you're just worried about getting your account metrics and account health back up, this is going to be the video for you. So I've learned a lot over the years. This process is always changing, but I will do my best to give you the most up-to-date information that I currently have. So here we have our account health dashboard in Seller Central, and you can see I've only got one complaint right now. And let's go ahead and open that because we want to address the complaint. The one thing you don't want to do is just let these sit on your account and not address them. In Amazon's eyes, that means that you're not being proactive, and they want to see that you are addressing the issues as they come up. We have taken these issues very seriously in the 7 years that we've been selling, and we've never been suspended. So I'm not saying that this is the only reason why we've never been suspended, but I do believe it has helped because we're always prompt to address these issues. So here you have some basic info on what type of complaint it is, as well as the item, and you have a button over here to submit your appeal. So once this is open, they are going to give you some information here. They're going to tell you the policy that they believe that you violated. So in this case, we have the Amazon anti-counterfeiting policy, and they also give you a bullet point on how to respond to that policy violation. So these are going to open up videos in Seller University. And honestly, the videos that they give you have very good information, and it's very similar to the information that I'm supplying right here. So a lot of people ask me about these types of appeals, and honestly, if they would just read or watch the information that Amazon gives you, they would probably know how to do it on their own. So basically, Amazon's asking you to submit an invoice. Pretty much any type of appeal, you're going to be submitting an invoice, and also check off all of these boxes here that you've complied with the information that they're looking for. However, you also have this information down here that says if you believe your listing has been deactivated in error, please provide an explanation here with a link. So personally, I like to click on this right here and submit the information this way. And the reason for that is by going through this screen, you're basically acknowledging guilt to whatever policy violation. They basically say that down here, that if you wish to acknowledge the issue instead, please complete the form above. So honestly, it probably doesn't really matter where you're submitting this information, but I like to go through this link. I think it's more important that you are being proactive and submitting something to Amazon. Whether you go through either screen probably doesn't matter as much, but this is the way that I personally like to do it. Okay, so now we have come to the point where we need to submit our documentation. I am going to include this PDF with the video, but we can see here the requirements that you're going to want to submit to Amazon. So they want you to use clear and concise language, good supporting evidence. So this is going to be your invoices. And then I also recommend reiterating the language in their policy and why you have not violated their policy. Lastly, do not add additional details such as emotional language or your personal opinions. So when we're submitting this, we want to be concise and speak to the representatives at Account Health as if they are on a first grade reading and writing level. You also have to keep in mind that a lot of the people that work in Account Health, English is not their first language, so you want to keep this super basic, super easy to read, as short as possible, but also giving Amazon the information that they're requesting and not giving them more information than they're requesting. They're just going to ignore it, and they could just see that information as a reason to deny the appeal because you're not reading through the requirements of what they want you to submit. So next, let's talk about the invoice. On the invoice, they want you to provide the following information: the supplier contact info, so that means their name, phone, address, and website. Oftentimes, this won't even be on your receipt or your invoice, so if it's not, I would recommend marking up the invoice in red text to notate that information. They want a purchase quantity that matches sales volume in the last 365 days. They want an invoice dated in the last 365 days, but not after the date of the violation. And they want your name and address. So it's best if the name and address on your invoice matches what they have on file in your Amazon account. So maybe you're shipping to a prep center. In that case, it might be a different address. So it is kind of a best practice to always have your billing address as your address in your Amazon account. That way you always have some address on there that covers what is matching what Amazon has. So here's an example of what your invoice might look like. So you can see here, I actually went into my Target account. I didn't just pull this invoice from my email, and I included the URL of the site on the screenshot of this invoice. It doesn't have the Target official address anywhere on here. So I went and I looked up the Target corporate headquarters address and their corporate headquarters phone number, and I called that out and included it on the invoice. I also called out here the name and address on file that matches my Amazon account. I called out the purchase date, and I also called out the actual item included in the appeal, and this title matches the title of the item on Amazon, and we also included the ASIN. So you're probably not going to have the ASIN name on any of your invoices unless you're doing an Amazon to Amazon flip. So you want to make sure that you're calling out the actual item, especially if there's multiple items on that receipt or invoice. And lastly, we've got the quantity here, and this should be matching the quantity that you sold on Amazon. Another piece of information you might want to include is something from the brand's website that calls out the retailer you purchased from as an authorized retailer. So here's an example of FentyBeauty.com mentions Kohl's as an official retailer of their brand. So say you purchase this item from Kohl's, maybe you would want to call out this information and include it in your appeal. So most of the time, this isn't going to be possible. It depends really on the brand's website and if they include this information. I also wouldn't recommend including this in your initial appeal, but we have put that into some of our follow-up appeals once they are denied, and that has helped get some of them accepted by Amazon. Now I'm going to go through the actual template and how you can apply it to your case. So we're going to address this authenticity violation here. Okay, so we have our template copy and pasted into this notepad. And for our example, we're going to use the Burt's Bees example that I had on this invoice up here. So we're going to change the brand name to Burt's Bees. So put in Burt's Bees here. And you want to make sure the text is exactly matching what is on the Amazon product page. And then I got it again down here. And then in this case, we need the policy name. So let's go back to Amazon here. We could see the policy is the Amazon anti-counterfeiting policy. So that's the text that I want to use here. So I'm going to copy that and paste it right here. So then we want to select one of these three responses in the middle, or if it's not one of these types of claims, you can change it to fit the type of policy that you are appealing. So in this case, I'm doing the Amazon anti-counterfeiting policy. And if we search that in Seller Central, we'll get it right here. And we actually found the text. It is each seller's responsibility to source, sell, and fulfill only authentic products. So we copy that right there. These other ones. So that's copy and pasted right from their actual policy right here. And because this is an authentic Burt's Bees product, it does not violate Amazon's anti-counterfeiting policy. Please remove this violation from our account. So that is basically what we are going to put in as our text. So I'm going to copy all of this, and we're going to go back to this page here. And I'm pasting that right in here. And then I'm going to mark up my invoice, and we are going to attach that to the case as well. So when you click next here, it's going to allow you to attach your invoice to the case, and then you can go ahead and click submit. So that covers how you deal with account health issues on Amazon. It's really simple. And remember that there is a good chance Amazon is not going to accept your initial appeal. The key is in the follow-up and just being persistent. And eventually, I think if you stay on top of these, they should clear them for you as long as you are keeping great documentation of everything you buy to sell on Amazon. So I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the next video.